She doesn't even know you exist, but you've seen every inch of her body, her lips, her waist, the way she moves when that beat drops on TikTok. She doesn't know your name, but she's living rent-free in your dopamine system, and it's destroying you. You didn't click on porn. You didn't search for anything explicit, but you scrolled. And now your urges are back, and you're staring into the abyss again, wondering if this time you'll give in. It's not hardcore anymore. It doesn't need to be. Because softcore is everywhere, and it's disguised as content. Motivational reels with girls in yoga pants, fitness influencers doing squats in slow motion, dances that are one pelvic thrust away from OnlyFans, and you call it just scrolling. But your brain calls it foreplay. Every swipe is a gamble. Will it be a meme or a model in lingerie? Will it be a productivity hack or a thirst trap? And in a world where dopamine is currency, these platforms are robbing your future. One scroll at a time, you think you're bored. But boredom is just the absence of cheap stimulation. And your brain has been trained, like a lab rat, to keep pushing the button, to keep scrolling, to keep triggering the same reward circuit that porn used to hijack. You escaped porn, but did you escape lust? Or did it just change shape? It's no longer a private browser in the dark, it's public, it's normalized, and it's weaponized. Instagram knows what you want. Even if you lie to yourself, its algorithm isn't guessing. It's watching you, every pause, every linger, every click. It's tracking your desires more intimately than you are, and then it feeds them back to you hotter, faster, more perfectly curated, until you forget why you even opened the app. You were just going to check messages. Now you're sweating, heart racing, mind spinning, urge rising. And here's the cruel trick, you didn't even see anything explicit, just suggestive, just harmless, just normal. But your brain can't tell the difference. It sees hips, cleavage, that look in her eyes. And it triggers the same chemical storm that used to lead to relapse. Because your biology hasn't updated, it's still wired for ancient survival, not digital seduction. You're in a digital strip club. Every time you open your phone, and you don't even pay cover, you pay with your focus, your energy, your time, your discipline, your willpower. You pay with your future. Every relapse begins with a thought. And every thought begins with a trigger. That half second of temptation, that flash of flesh, that flirtatious glance in a reel that's 6 seconds long. That's all it takes. Because you're not addicted to porn. You're addicted to dopamine. And these platforms know how to spike it. Again and again. And again. They don't want you to quit. They want you to stay just sane enough to come back. So you lie to yourself. This isn't porn, it's just a dance. She's just pretty. It's just content. But your urges don't care what it's labeled. They only know what they feel. And they feel everything. And once those circuits light up, your body remembers. Your hands remembers, your browser remembers. And that dark spiral begins again. It starts innocent. It ends in shame. That's the path. And every scroll is a step. You're in a digital strip club. Every time you open your phone, and you don't even pay cover, you pay with your focus, your energy, your time, your discipline, your willpower. You pay with your future. Every relapse begins with a thought. And every thought begins with a trigger. That half second of temptation, that flash of flesh, that flirtatious glance in a reel that's 6 seconds long. That's all it takes. Because you're not addicted to porn. You're addicted to dopamine. And these platforms know how to spike it. Again and again. And again. They don't want you to quit. They want you to stay just sane enough to come back. So you lie to yourself. This isn't porn, it's just a dance. She's just pretty. It's just content. But your urges don't care what it's labeled. They only know what they feel. And they feel everything. And once those circuits light up, your body remembers. Your hands remembers, your browser remembers. And that dark spiral begins again. It starts innocent. It ends in shame. That's the path. And every scroll is a step. And now you're letting a stranger on your screen. Extinguish it. You think she cares. You think she's making that real for you. You're invisible to her. And still, you give her your power. You give her your eyes, your attention, your time, your fire. And for what? A few seconds of stimulation. Is that all your willpower is worth? You're trying to be a man, but you're worshipping at the altar of digital seduction, with no commitment, no meaning, no love, just loops. You open the app, you scroll, you trigger the urge, you resist, maybe, or you fall. Then you regret. Then you promise to do better. Then you open the app again. Is this who you want to be? Because you can't win a war you're not willing to admit you're fighting. And right now you're in a war for your mind, your attention, your masculinity. And your enemy isn't just porn, it's suggestion, it's accessibility, it's normalization. It's that voice that says, just one more scroll, just one more reel. It's not that bad. It is that bad. Because every time you chase cheap dopamine, you abandon your purpose. You give away your strength to an algorithm. And every time you tell yourself it's harmless, you forget what it cost you the last time. The days of discipline you had to rebuild. The confidence you had to regain. The shame you had to swallow, you forget all of it. Until you're back at square one, again. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can uninstall the app. You can block the account. You can set a timer. You can choose differently. You can guard your eyes, like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future depends on what you look at, what you let into your temple, what you train your mind to desire. And if you train it to crave cheap beauty, you will never create anything beautiful. You will stay addicted to consumption, to fantasy, to stimulation, and never step into your masculine power. You don't build greatness with one hand in your pants and the other on your phone. You build it when you say no. When you choose discomfort over pleasure, clarity over chaos, discipline over desire. This is the real test. Not when you're at rock bottom, but when you're 2 clicks away from it. And you walk away. That's power. That's maiden. That's self-mastery. And you won't find it on your For You page. So close the app, look in the mirror, and remember who the hell you are. Not a slave to the scroll, not a puppet for the algorithm, but a man with fire in his veins and purpose in his bones. Let them dance, let them post, let them chase followers. You chase freedom. Freedom is what you're after. The freedom of no compulsions. They're no longer running your life. You're in charge. You set the rules. Thank you for listening. Welcome to the Brotherhood. True Avalon is where we pursue excellence. Subscribe.